Well, America's pastime. It is opening day for Major League Baseball all around the nation. That's how we start the 5:30. I'm Colin Mayfield.
And I'm Vanessa Rufus. You know, for us here in Charlotte, this is also that time of year that a lot of folks start to ask, will Charlotte ever get a Major League team? So enter Nick Carboni.
Guys, it feels like we have this conversation every year. That's because we do. But leading up to this season, there's a couple of new wrinkles to tell you about. One, Commissioner Rob Manfred is hinting at expansion in the early 2030s. So we have a bit of a timeline. And two, last fall, Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon said he wants to explore bringing an expansion franchise here to North Carolina. Now, here's a list of cities we know are vying for expansion clubs. You've got Charlotte, of course, then Nashville, Orlando, Portland, Raleigh, San Jose, Salt Lake City, and Austin or San Antonio. Or the league could go international, perhaps returning to Montreal or going down to Mexico City. Now, Dundon was the first person with money, power, and influence to float bringing a team to the state. Manfred has hinted in the past in interviews that an expansion fee would be in the billions.
My question about Tom Dundon is not willingness, it's how much money exactly does he have.
Charlotte Business Journal's Eric Spanberg.
By the time you get to 2029, 2030, it's probably $2.5 billion.
But at least somebody around here is trying. And even without Dundon, Charlotte's going to have a very strong case, Spanberg says.
You know, the inevitability of cities as sports markets becomes a big part of the discussion. Tournaments, championships, all-star games, they didn't used to come here. Now they come here on a much more regular basis.
So in baseball terms, we wanted to get an advanced scouting report on the cities that Charlotte might be up against. And we are assuming a couple things. First, that stadium deals for the A's and Rays get done and they do not relocate. And secondly, that 2 teams will be added to make an even 32. One in the West, one in the East, so that kind of eliminates the competition. And we zoom in on that competition for a team in the East. Here's who we think it's going to be down to. And here's what we think some of the top criteria are going to be. TV market size, population size, and corporate presence. Eno Saris, a senior baseball writer from The Athletic, he's been digging into this stuff for years and thinks we have a great chance.
Charlotte hit the top of the list really on so many of the different things I looked at.
We'll start with TV market. I mean, we're up there. Now, everybody's kind of in the same range here, but Charlotte is close to being in the top 20, and that matters.
TV market size, which I think might actually be the most important thing. The owners want more TV market, more TV share.
And how about corporations? I mean, you got to fill those corporate suites, right? Simply put, Charlotte crushes our competition here when it comes to how many Fortune 500 companies are in town.
In fact, when it comes to industry, it would be on par with Miami, St. Louis, Washington, D.C., and not too far off from Los Angeles. And that matters for boxes, luxury boxes, signage, corporate partners.
And the cities we're talking about, Charlotte's metro population is strong in comparison. It's a young and growing population too. But Sarah says it's not so much about the number of people, but about where the people are.
Charlotte has more population density. You can put a stadium somewhere where you really feel like within 30 minutes, you've got X amount of people.
Yeah, got to fill the stadium, and Saris was specifically pointing out Charlotte's population density in relation to Raleigh, which could be one of our prime competitors for a team. And yes, we're kind of a Braves town, but Saris says that would not stop the league from wanting to add Charlotte's TV market to the rest of the teams, guys.
Well, we also know what kind of town we are too. We're a Charlotte Knights town, so that's an interesting dynamic. What would happen with the Knights?
Yeah, our beloved Charlotte Knights, who come home next week. Major League Baseball has territorial rights, so if it comes down to it and Charlotte is getting a major league team, the Knights would have to go. We're far away from that. And by the way, Spanberg says there's no doubt a new Major League Baseball team would want its stadium right there in Uptown. So if it gets to that point, don't let any new owner tell you otherwise. That's where they're going to want it.
That to me seems the big caveat, right? Like,
yeah.
What would they do with the stadium
already?
Who's
going to buy it?
Right.
Where the stadium is another component. All those things I mentioned, and you got to have a stadium deal in place too.
Yeah.
And who pays?
Yeah. That's going to be it.
We'll
we don't
see,
want
guys.
to levy taxes on folks here in Mecklenburg County either. All right, Nick, thank you so much. We'll see you at 6.